Hi guys, this is Brendan McKenzie here with my mobility series. So we're working our way through the ankle today and through the bottom of the feet today. And as you might have seen in my foot bar video, or maybe if you haven't, check that one out because that's a great place to start. Is working on the myofascial tissue in the feet. But basically, everything sort of begins and ends at the feet. If you want to run, if you want to jump, if you want to do anything, it all happens through the foot, through force application into the ground, basically. So we want to make sure that our feet are moving well, and a lot of injuries that happen further, higher up the legs, often happen and are caused because of the feet, basically. We don't often pay attention to them. We're using shoes all the time, and we usually just don't know what's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys a few different exercises, something that really, if you have any foot issues, you guys can use these as sort of warm-up activations, even sort of post exercise as well too, just to make sure that our feet are nice and healthy, and our ankles are nice and healthy as well too. We'll do a little bit of ankle stuff. So starting off, first thing that I want you guys doing is we're going to stretch out the front of the foot, the top of the foot, up into tibialis anterior. So great way to do that is just by coming here and then just sitting on the heels, okay? So when we're doing this, we want to think about pressing our ankles down into the floor. If you're doing this before an activity, you don't have to do it very long, more like 10 to 20 seconds. If you guys are doing this after an activity, you may want to spend more time here, like 60 to 120 seconds, so 1 to 2 minutes. A progression from this as well too, to get a little bit more intense stretch for those that are a little bit more mobile. Then you can go hands to the floor or on an elevated surface. We hook the toes and then bring ourselves up here, and then it's same thing as well too. So we're pushing the ankles forward, stretching out the top of the foot, okay? And then same thing, either 10 to 20 seconds before or 60 seconds to 120, 1 to 2 minutes there as well too. So that's the top of the foot. Now, we also want to hit the bottom of the foot too. So great way to get the bottom of the foot is we hook our toes. So now we're just getting everything underneath. I hook the toes, and then I'm going to sit back here. And then it's same thing, same recommendations for before or after. So here, what I'm looking for is maybe a nice stretch in the plantar fascitis. Depends on if you're a little bit tight there. We're maybe also going to get a little bit of a stretch in the achilles here as well. And then we may get a stretch up into the calf, into that soleus. So if you're doing this before activity, you want to be 10 to 20 seconds. If you guys are going to do this after activity, or we're looking to kind of improve the length, then we want to be going more 1 to 2 minutes here, okay? So that's sort of the top and then the bottom of the foot. Then other things that we want to get into is we want to then get into a little bit more movement. So what I want you guys to do is you may grab something like this, a stick, a broomstick, a dowel, something like this, and then a great exercise here then is putting that stick in front of your toe and then driving your knee over top of the toe while keeping the heel down, okay, to a point where you feel that stretch, or you feel where your heel sort of wants to come off the ground. So if this is easy right here for you, then what I'd like you to do is take that dowel and then move that dowel a little bit further, and then we're going same thing. So I'm going to that point where all of a sudden I'll see my heel just start to come off the ground. I feel a nice stretch in my soleus in here. And then before an activity, if I'm doing this one before, I want to do 10 reps like that, so just coming forwards and then back. If I'm trying to stretch and lengthen it, where I'm doing it more in like a recovery mode, then I would go here and then I would lean and I would hold. And same thing, I would hold this 1 to 2 minutes. Just depends sort of on how much time we have. But those long holds are really nice because we're sort of, allowing the muscle enough time to adapt and relax. And we're going to see more prolonged changes from that as well too. So that's a really nice one for the soleus there. Another one that's great as well too is then coming up into a standing position. So I would also go standing position to get a little bit more gastroc. I would come onto a wall, one leg forward, one leg back. I'm pressing my back heel down in towards the ground and then driving forwards here. And I'll show you guys that from a side angle as well too. So it'd be here, I'm leaning here. Right now I'm stretching out my back leg, so that back heel is in the ground. This again is going to get a little bit more gastroc, okay? And if you're stretching before, it's a little bit shorter and then maybe even kind of dynamic. So I might just move in and then move out. If I'm doing it afterwards, I'm going to be more probably holding for that 60 to 120 seconds there. So that sort of is top of the foot, bottom of the foot, and then you're hitting your soleus and then the gastrocs as well too. Okay. The last thing that I want to show you guys is I want to show you guys just inversion inversion and then our internal rotation and then eversion or external rotation. So here what I want you guys to do is I want us just going standing and then we would take that ankle and that knee and bring it inside. So I'm trying to press my inside ankle in towards the ground, then coming back out, inside towards the ground, back out, in towards the ground, back out. If I'm doing this before, I'm wanting to do 10 of those, okay? Same thing with after, okay? I'm just doing 10 of those like that as well. You can hold for maybe 2 seconds here. Same thing, 10 of those. So if you guys do all of that, then your ankles are going to feel great. The feet are going to feel great. Something else to consider though, lastly, when doing your mobility stuff, is if we want to improve our mobility for reasons of pain or injury or something like that, you're also going to want to increase your strength in those muscles as well too. So making sure that you guys move through a full range of motion and then add a contraction at your end range of motion. You think of the difference between an athlete that maybe lifts weights or does something fast and explosive, and then someone that just stretches all the time, like like someone that does more yoga. The problem with just doing yoga is a lot of times we have really nice length, so they have really nice range of motion, but they don't have any strength at that range of motion or at that end range of motion. So we want to be more like a gymnast that has that mobility, but then also kind of has that strength at the end range of motion. So making sure that you guys add in some strength exercises. I'm going to show you guys a couple different strength exercises here as well too, for the calf and then for the foot. So a couple of my favorites are very simple, which is just standing calf raises, and we can do them 3 different ways. So we can go stand in here, roll to the big toe, come back down, roll to the big toe, come back down, roll to the big toe, come back down. Big key with this one is that your ankles aren't rolling out, okay? So I'm not rolling out onto my pinky toes. If anything, a nice trick is even to bring your heels together. So I would bring my heels together, and then I'd roll, and I'd keep those heels together as I come up and come back down. Keep those heels together as I come up and come back down. As far as reps go, I would be starting off with more like 30 reps, working up to 100 reps if you're just using body weight like that, okay? And then we can also go to a single leg calf raise as well too. If you're going to go single leg calf raise, I always recommend starting with isometrics, especially if you're coming from an injury. So an isometric would just be here, where we're holding ourselves up. I'd lift up here, and then I'd hold for 30 seconds, okay, and then switch. Go to my other leg, hold for 30 seconds, and then switch, okay. So something like that, and doing 5 sets of 30 seconds, and then maybe 3 sets of the 30 reps with the double leg. Those 2 would be great exercises. The last things maybe that we want to do is then also strengthen the soleus as well too. So you want to maybe do something with a bent knee as well. And something just as simple as holding a little bit of a squat. So we're here and then rolling up onto our toes and then coming back down, up onto your toes, and then coming back down, up onto our toes and coming back down. If you needed something for support, you could use a chair, and then 30 of those would be a perfect place to start. Even you can see what I'm doing right here, which is just squatting with my heels up in the air. That's another great exercise for the calves as well too. I'm gaining strength and isometric strength, okay? And then also moving through a little bit more range of motion. So try some of those things out. If you guys are adding these exercises into your regular routine, make sure if we're doing anything that's long and prolonged, you're only maybe doing it once to twice a week, okay? So that way our tissue has a little bit more time to adjust. And if you guys are doing it before, spending just a couple minutes on it, then you could do it before every single time you guys are going out to run or hitting the gym, especially if your feet and your ankles are a limiter for you. So try that out, and let's stay fit, have fun. Okay, bye.